Hi, this is a reflection on Lesson 208 in A Course in Miracles. It is a review of Lesson 188, and 188 says, "The peace of God is shining in me now." This is also, again, the overarching phrase that gets repeated for all of these reviews is, "I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me." So it's interesting. I am not a body. I am free. And the peace of God is shining in me now. So a few lessons ago, it was about like the peace of God. It said, I want the peace of God. So I reflected, I think, on how this, like that stillness that comes when we quiet the mind. And that means just, for me, it means when I purposely just stop to notice. Some people call it meditation, whatever you want to call it. Just stopping doing, stopping planning, thinking, stop thinking about the past, the future, and just sometimes I have to stop my body and start noticing, okay, what are my thoughts doing? Don't judge them, just kind of let them go through. So when I can get into that place of stillness, meaning stillness of the mind, that's when I feel that peace. Like, that's just always available, always here underneath all of this noise and this funny assumption that there's an I, first of all, and that the I needs to be doing something to reaffirm itself. Meaning, like, there's this sense of self I've been thinking about. Like, what is that sense of self that feels like, oh, I'm a person with a personality, and like I have to have preferences and I have to state those preferences, and everything I do has to reaffirm those preferences. And I thought about, even just this morning, how this idea of self is so limiting. Like, let's think about like a spectrum, I guess, where one end of the spectrum, let's pretend I don't have a personality and I don't have attachment to the past, meaning, oh, it happened, but I'm not saying, well, hey, this is my story and it's made me who I am today, and like I'm set in stone because that happened to me, and no. So that's one end of the spectrum, is like very like open. I don't have that attachment. I don't even project into the future. I just am existing, and everything that arises, like we come into contact and I'm seeing you with fresh eyes. I'm like, oh my God, it's so great to meet you or see you again. And we just connect without any expectation of how that interaction is even supposed to go. So that's what I mean by personality. It's like everything is fresh and new all the time. And then at the other end of the spectrum, it's a very narrow, specific idea of self. Like, I am this personality, and I feel like I'm a good person, and I'm a nice person, and I do good things in the world, and sometimes I do not great things, and then I shame myself or I feel bad, and then I beat myself up, and I have little bad behavioral patterns I get into, or there's like this idea of self that has to reaffirm, like, I am this person and I have these goals and I have this job and these family members. I have, in my mind, I have this idea of what I am in their minds, that I have to reaffirm that's who I am, or try to teach people or prove, no, that's not who I am. So it's like, again, this reaffirming of a self. So it seems very narrow, right? Like it's a very like one specific idea of who I even am. What is this? One specific idea. And on the other end, it's like wide open. Everything's a possibility. I don't have to, like, to me, what this comes down to is, I don't even know if this is about the lesson, honestly, but it's this, I think maybe it's related to this piece of God that I can, again, I don't even want to use the word God, this piece that I feel when I'm not reaffirming a personality, a sense of self, and this idea that really sticks with me, that seems problematic, is my idea of the picture of me you have in your head. Like, that's a lot of assumption right there of stuff that's not even real. It's not just this idea of who I think I am to everyone. It's like, oh, when I'm like with a person, like there's this idea, like there's this whole history I have with this person, and this idea that they know me as this, and they don't know these parts of my life. They know this part of my life. So I'm reaffirming everything they know through my interactions. And then there's this person over here, and they know this part of me, and I'm reaffirming that. Like, the only person who knows our whole story is ourselves, maybe, and maybe a little bit of our parents might know the first couple of years of us, you know? So isn't it crazy that there's not even one person in the whole world that knows every little fact, even facts about ourselves, let alone like the way we feel throughout the course of a day, what we're thinking all day long. And it's crazy that like every person out there that I've ever met has some idea of me, and it's a little sliver of an idea based on their interactions. And so there's a lot of mental stuff in the background, I would imagine, that's just wrapped up around keeping track of who am I to this person, who am I to that person, and then trying to reaffirm that, reify it, keep it going. Like we're holding up this idea of a self that's just, what is it anyway? It's a conglomeration of experiences that when you put two people into an experience, each has their own perspective. It's not even a single experience. It's some individual thing, and I've talked about this before, and some third thing that you're both holding up together through a perceived understanding of what we just did here together in this interaction. So, and it's all just sort of like so intangible. So nothing. And so to me, that's a lot of mental activity to just like, who am I to those people? And we do it so instinctively, so seemingly easy, but it's a lot of just, ugh. And what if it was just socially acceptable to be fresh and new with everybody all the time? Just like, that's who I am right now. And it's not even like this is who I am. It just seems so definitive, doesn't it? It's like, this is what I'm expressing right now. This is the expression of me right now. Like, wouldn't that be amazing? And that's probably why actors get into acting. I don't know, because it's like permission, right, to do that. And why don't we give each other permission to do that? And not have to hold in our memories too everything you ever told me about yourself. Why can't I come with the worst memory ever and say like, hey, tell me about yourself. What do you feel like expressing right now? Not tell me stories unless you want to, but tell me how you felt through those stories. Tell me how, like, what's the experience of being you right now? What's that like? So, because we all come with our own little fun filters, right? Our expression filters. So anyway, that's what this all made me think of, is like, hey, this piece that shines in me is usually wrapped around like a letting go of all these assumptions that who am I, who even am I, and who am I to like other people, like who am I to myself is usually something it almost feels like an icky like trying to make sense of the 100, let's pick 100 different people I know and say, well, I have 100 versions of me. I now have to like integrate into one weird idea of a person that isn't even a whole person still. And so maybe that's why even just having this idea of myself apart from others doesn't even feel right anymore. It just feels like, ugh, that's some other layer I don't even want to add, you know? And so I would just like, let's be all fresh and new with each other all the time, and especially with ourselves, to like let go of these ideas of like, who am I? I don't know who I am.